What's going on, guys? Welcome to Chat on the Mat with Ronnie and Denny. Denny, how's your day going?
It's not going too bad, Ronnie. How about yourself?
Denny, I'm honestly really nervous about this. I've never done podcasts or anything before, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I'm pretty nervous too. It's my first time doing something like this, so we'll see how it goes, and hopefully the community likes it as well.
Yeah, my self-esteem is really right on this, Denny, so we have to make sure we perform.
We gotta do it right. Gotta do it right. Can't do it wrong.
Yep.
So I've got a couple topics for us to talk about, just to kind of ease our way into this new chapter on as far as victory goes and as far as you and I go. So let's get started with a nice little intro about both our backgrounds. Want to kind of get into how or why we started not only just training, but training at Victory. If you want to go ahead and start with that.
No, yeah, for sure, absolutely. So I've been training with Victory now for well over 10 years, and it has been quite the journey. I started, I think it was around 13 or 14, kind of like most kids at the time, wanted to do something different. Checked out quite a few other gyms, and nothing ever seemed right until I found Victory. Luckily, I had a family member that knew of our mentor, Adam, from way back in the day. Called him up one day. He offered to come to Victory with me, kind of introduced me to Adam. And immediately, as soon as I walked in the dojo doors, it felt like home. And as cheesy as that sounds, that's how it's remained from the first day here to where we currently sit talking together. And life is funny. It's, the connections that I made prior to being in Victory leading me to Victory, and then the connections I've made while at my tenure at Victory. It's a wild ride, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So how long have you been training then? So you started when you were 13, 14?
Yeah, started right around there, started training, super dedicated. 5 days a week. If there was class, I was there. If the coaches, the team at the time did anything outside of normally structured classes, I was there. And that went on for like 3-4 years straight until I started taking on a different role. Before I became like full-time mentor, full-time coach, I vividly remember, having to pick up classes here and there for if a guy was sick or sometimes the weather, coach couldn't make it. I tried to make myself as reliable as possible. Luckily, Adam saw that and took notice, and when those occasions did happen, they would call on me, and I just, made the most of it at the time. And looking back on it now, covering classes to where I'm at now, running classes, two totally different worlds. But from starting with, 15-minute, 20-minute lead time, hey, Ronnie, I need you to cover. Okay, cool, I'm there. Kind of, making it up as I go to where I'm at now, where it's structured, planned out. It's just, and the caliber is just totally different, and it's honestly super cool. Love it.
So you started kind of covering classes around 17, 18. Do you think you saw yourself where you are now back then?
Yeah, so in the moment, especially being, that 17, 18-year-old range, I never imagined it would get to this point where it is now, teaching, almost 5 days a week, private lessons, teaching children's classes, big adult classes, teaching guys and women, that want to fight and compete, going from kids to regular classes to competitors. Never would I have imagined, back then when I was just covering classes, that it would lead to what it is now. And yeah, crazy, super crazy.
Awesome. Yeah, my journey's a little bit different. I started back when I was 12, so that was about 9 years ago now. I actually started because I was getting bullied a lot, and I was bullied all through elementary and all through middle school, essentially. And I'd tried out some karate schools back in the day, but it wasn't for me either. Not only was it not for me, it wasn't from my parents' pocket either. It was just expensive, pricey, and just not within budget, and I just kind of had to suffer through it for a little bit. But what really did it in was in 7th grade, I got into a fight. I was new at the school. This was maybe in September of that school year, and I was riding the bus, and the 8th graders doing 8th grader things. They were in the back of the bus, just egging us on, me and this kid. Not to name any names, but he was the kid everybody egged on, and he was aggressive and he was mean. So I was just an easy target, you know. And one day the 8th graders were like, "You guys have to fight. You guys have to fight." And I was just like, "All right, let's go." I don't know how to fight, but I was like, "Let's go." And we get off the bus. One of the 8th graders recording it. So I don't even remember how it started. We just started throwing punches, and if this doesn't tell you who I am as a person, I don't know what will. I knocked his glasses off his face, and I waited for him to put them back on, because I was like, I can't fight him if he doesn't have his glasses on.
Yeah.
And then he grabs me, and immediately after he grabs me, he's punching me in the head. He gets me in the lip. Everybody sees blood. They scram.
Yep.
And then I walk home with a bloody lip, and that was an interesting night. And about a month later after that, I came straight here. And I've been here ever since.
One thing that has not changed from where you are now to back then is you being a gentleman. You know, that is hysterical. Love that. But what I like to think about is obviously your mindset of just being super cool, chill dude, not really knowing how to fight, but the willingness to defend yourself to where you're at now, and the caliber of being a martial artist that you are now. That is what, I think that's cool. I think if that happened now, I think you'd probably knock his glasses off with a wheel kick, still wait for him, let him pick it up, and then proceed to throw another wheel kick, and, maybe definitely more aggression, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then my journey's been, fun ever since. I remember, after that happened, I had some smaller incidents happen, but ever since, it never happened again. And I'm sure it was, not just the confidence in having the skills behind my hands and whatnot, but it was just, I started to give off that aura of
Sure.
Don't mess with me, and it was good. It was good for not just for me, but for also the people around me and my family. And it was a good decision my family made to put me here.
Yeah. The aura difference is probably the most notable difference when you see someone who it's their first day versus someone who it's their 1 month to their 3 month or 6 months of the year. The personality and the confidence change is my favorite thing to see in someone, because I felt that myself when I first started. A little bit timid, wouldn't talk as much, pretty quiet on the mats. Only things I would say is yes or no, sir. To where I'm at now, where, I feel confident enough in myself through the work, the time, the years spent on the mats. It has changed my personality and given me the confidence to where I can, talk on the mat. I can obviously run the classes, lead an adult class of 40 people and not even bat an eye or have an ounce of nervousness in me. But that thought right there of first stepping in the doors, not being able to communicate to where I'm at now, that another super cool thing, on top of obviously the physical skill and all that comes with that, of being a martial artist who's trained this long.
Yeah, I also, just kind of like you, I also started teaching pretty young. I first started covering classes for Sensei Adam when I was about tail end of 15.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, 16, 17, I got my own class. I started teaching my own class Tuesdays back in 2020, right before COVID hit. January of 2020, I started teaching that class.
Yeah.
And seeing how it went from, 1, 2 kids, sometimes no kids showing up, to now it's like packed house. We split it into 2 classes. Yeah. It's just the journey from those beginnings to where we are now. It's just awesome to see, not just in ourselves, but even in the kids that we teach. It's great.
Yeah, that's nuts. You know, Sensei Adam has always had a path and a plan, and I know he's ingrained it in you, he's ingrained it in me. But when you really step back and think about it, thinking about those early classes where it's, you know, again, maybe a handful of kids, maybe a handful of adults, but still, every day you have a class, consistently showing up to where you're at now, where I'm at now, to where if it's, first kids class, second kids class, third kids class, adult class, the volume and the amount of people on the mats, it's incredible. And, you know, looking back at it and from a third person point of view, Sensei Adam is right about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right about everything. The path is there. We followed it, and we continue to follow it. If we're having this conversation now, the level of growth that Victory is going to have, that we're going to have a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it'll be great to see, and great to have that conversation in the future, reflecting back on where we are now, and where we'll be then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then the personal development. Again, just the time on the mats, just being in here, teaching classes, taking your class, taking Sensei Adam's classes, taking a step back from the mentor and instructor role, but yet still being in the gym, still creating the bonds with the students, still creating the bonds with the fellow mentors, fellow coaches. That stuff is, in my opinion, just so vitally important.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, recently I've had a lot of parents, just coming up to me and simply just saying thank you. Thank you for being, a guiding figure in our kids' lives, or thank you for being the enforcer in our kids' lives, or thank you for being a mentor in our kids' lives. And that, I'm sure it's fulfilling for you, but me being 21 is even more wild.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy that these parents are giving you gratitude for having an impact on their kids' lives.
Yeah, in my opinion, there's very few greater feelings than having the parents come up and give you such high praise. That feeling it makes you feel like $1 million.
There's nothing better.
It's fantastic. You get a mom, you get a dad. Hey Sensei Ronnie, hey Sensei Denny. This is how my son, this is how my daughter was. This is how my son, this is how my daughter is now.
Right.
And when they express that to you, you look in their eyes, you know they're genuine. All you can do is say thank you.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like $1 million. It really does.
Absolutely.
And then on the adult end, when you get a woman coming in the gym for the first time, you get all calibers of individuals. But when you see a certain individual type that you can tell that they have a bit of a broken wing and they're lacking a little bit of something, you watch them progress through the weeks. When you give them their power back, the feeling that you get watching that individual with their head hung low walking through those doors for the first day, to them strutting their stuff, chest pumped out in the air, chin way up, it's incredible.
Yeah.
To give someone that feeling of them having the utmost confidence in themselves through what they did it's amazing. It really is. You can't beat it.
The cool part about that too is that it radiates through the room.
Oh my God.
You see the guy that used to walk in and be quiet and humble, and now they walk in and they've just got this confidence coming through, and their skills on the mats and off the mats are top notch. It spreads through the room. Everybody feels better because of that. Seeing not just themselves grow, but each other grow. It's fulfilling as well on that end.
Taking a broken individual and giving them their power back is a feeling that I hope many, many people get to experience. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but that feeling is worth all the nights spent here with 2 people on the mats, no people on the mats. It's worth all the time staying here late, honing our skills, all the time in the books, reading into what Sensei Adam has given us. All those hours that we've taken away from doing what, let's say, normal society would, out and about, and devoting ourselves to honing our craft, just to see another individual take those lessons to better themselves. Yeah. That's the best feeling ever. And that's honestly one of the biggest reasons why I continue to do it, and I will not stop anytime soon. This is a lifelong path, which is incredible in itself. Many jobs, many professions, you're there for, okay, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. You get a different opportunity somewhere else. You jump ship, you go there. Oh, well, you know, they have a better espresso machine in the lobby, so I'm going to leave that work. I'm going to go to this job. Well, you know what? I kind of like the breath mints they have on their desk there versus here. This is a lifelong passion and journey, and I know for myself, I couldn't have picked a better spot. Victory, I mean, one of a kind.
Yeah.
So much so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had some people ask me like, oh, where are you from? Like, where do you train from? Even though while I'm teaching on the mats, and I'm like, here.
Yeah.
I grew up here. This is
Yep.
my home.
Yeah.
I've spent almost a majority of my life here. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've spent more time in this building, in between these walls, on these very mats, than I think I have anywhere else. It's close competition between this building and my home, and I generally think this place might be, you know, edging out my house.
Yeah.
And I say that with pride.
It's home away from home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
So let's go into this. Favorite part or favorite memory about teaching kids, and then we'll go into teaching adults.
Wow. I wish I've cataloged some of the funny stuff, some of the crazy memories I've had with teaching kids over the years. If I did, I'd be able to write a book by now.
Yeah.
The kids are the funniest people in the world. I would take watching, a kid's class, seeing the shenanigans that they get up to, then going to a comedy show. Some of the funniest things ever. They are so just out there, and there's generally no filter on what they say, and it is.
Sometimes you got to reel them back in.
You have to. That's what we're here for. But the comedy gold that it is to have 34 to 8-year-olds on the mats, and then, obviously you're locked in, you're honed in, but every now and then you just got to take a step back, take a breath, be in the moment, and realize, what did this kid just say? Did he just say he wants to do a backflip into a Superman punch and then double it? It's like, what is going on here? I love it. I love the enthusiasm. I don't know if that's going to work. I can try to demonstrate that for you guys. I don't think I will, but little stuff like that. And yeah, it's just like watching, especially the young kids. We get a lot of kids that come in here, a lot of parents that come in here for one very specific reason, and that is lack of confidence. Talked about it a little bit ago. And seeing a kid that can't make eye contact, a kid that can't get his chin out of his shirt, can't, articulate his body, he's very tight and rigid, to work with that kid for 1 week, for 2 weeks to 3 weeks, from them walking in the door, stepping on the mats, hiding in a corner, to them then bowing on before they step on the mats, and then running around saying what's up to all their buddies, what's up, sensei, and just watching them feel like they have a place to belong. It's worth all the money in the world. It really
Absolutely. Is. Yeah, one of the things I like to think about is that there's not a lot of place to build resilience out there in the world anymore. Just from listening to stories from older people, back in the day there was fights, there was bullying, there was character building, there was character development through that, and now kids don't have that as much, and all they have is school, and schools, they do their thing, but they don't get the some things right, and one of the things they don't get right is emotional development. And
Absolutely.
I think that kids need a safe place in particular to be able to emotionally develop, and I think this is the place for that.
Absolutely. I think nowadays, there's too many safety nets in place in the wrong aspects. I think that this is 1,000,000% a safe place for kids to develop, but this is also a place for correction. This is right, that is wrong. Hard work comes first. Right. And yeah, I don't believe that, most kids are getting that nowadays. But again, that's why Victory is here. That's why Victory has been around for so many years, and that's why Victory will be around for so many more years.
Yeah.
So.
Favorite part about then adults, or favorite memory about adults?
Oh man, favorite memory about adults. I think we'd be here all night if I started listing them all off. Working with adults is so much fun. I'm probably gonna say working with the kids is better.
Yeah.
It's super fulfilling. Working with the adults is awesome though. You get the amount of characters that you can have on these mats is insane. You can have one guy that's lawyer, another guy that's a doctor, another guy blue collar guy. The background differences is insane, and then to see them training together as if none of those outside thoughts and stigmas and whatever else you want to call it are there, and just watching them locked in, honed in, trying to grow and get better. I mean, it's the best. It's like, again, what is better than that? And as far as memories, that's a tough one. Let me think. You have any favorite memories, Denny? I'm trying to think of one.
Favorite memory for adults, let me think. I don't think I have any either. Or at least I don't remember. We get hit in the head a lot. That's, I say this constantly, being in our profession, the amount of, headshots that we took from competing and stuff and training for competition is through the roof. But, that's why I'm a MMA coach and not a math teacher, But I think that's actually that. Now that you mention it, that's where the memories lie for me. Being able to, when people are competing, whether it's myself or somebody else on the team, those few weeks leading up to the competition, and then that week immediately after the competition, assuming everything went according to plan. The ecstasy you feel on the mats. The couple of weeks leading up to it, there's a lull on the mats. There's a seriousness, a tension on the mats. And then as soon as that victory happens, that day, that night where the team is all together, the excitement, in the bleachers, the excitement around the ring, around our champions, around our competitors,
Absolutely.
It is fantastic. And then that next day they come back to train, that Monday, that Tuesday, whatever it might be, there's just excitement and hype on the mats, and everybody's giving each other high fives and hugs and celebrating, and that's we've had that a handful of times these last couple of years, more recently.
Absolutely.
And that's been a really positive memory for me.
There is something special when you create a bond with someone, man, woman, through blood, sweat, and just determination and grit. That bond, when it translates to seeing them step on the mat, step in the ring, step into the cage, to watch them then go to battle, having all that emotional build up with them, and then to see them win and to see them, have all the praise and all the glory, there's something special about that. And that's a bond I think few people will ever understand. Again, doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, what your accent is, what your name is. What matters is the time put on the mat spent with your people. This is, it sounds cheesy, but it is a giant family. And when you spend an hour, 2 hours throwing your bones at somebody else, whether it be their face or their body, a connection happens. And then to watch them and go put forth all that experience and all that time, and then their health on the line when it comes to competition, it puts you through the moon. And the excitement level while you're watching them compete, your heart's racing, you're sweating, you're smiling, you're moving your head because you think that's going to help them. It's an otherworldly experience.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Just the lead up and then the aftermath. It's just all around. Good, and it lifts everybody up too. Even if you weren't working alongside the competitors. I mean, we all work alongside the competitors, but even if you didn't get a chance to work alongside them, it just lifts up the mood in the room and overall the connection between us.
There's something special about being from Victory,
Yeah.
seeing somebody else from Victory go forth, put their heart on the line, put their soul on the line, put their physical health on the line, and then to go and compete, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Absolutely. Let's move into this now. Favorite memory while training. So this is not a teaching memory. This is the time you were training on the mats, putting in the work. A good memory you have about that.
Yeah. So anytime I'm on the mats with Sensei Adam, and I can just revert to just being the student and just encompassing everything that he's putting forth is always memorable. There's been a handful of times we've had, some pretty mainstream fighters come in. Working with them is always a blast. I think one of my favorite memories, this was a while ago. It was myself, Matt, another one of our coaches, and Jason, another one of our coaches. And Jason had a fight coming up, and it was just the three of us on these mats working for God knows how long, probably 3, 4, 5, 6 hours maybe. I don't think we left till like 3 in the morning. But just the amount of effort and the amount of sparring rounds we got in, and then again, just being the three of us, the 3 top guys at the time, I'll never forget that night. I think it was the day before his fight. We were here and just locking in, dialing in everything, and then training that hard. And then afterwards, when we were done, just sitting down, talking, not only talking about, what happened in all the sparring rounds, what happened with the pad work, okay, maybe we should do this a little bit differently. Just talking about life and bonding over what we had just did on the mats, off the mats.
Yeah.
Love that. Never forget that. And then, lo and behold, Jason goes out there, dominates like we expected, everyone expected.
Yeah.
So that just was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about yourself? What do you got?
One of my favorite memories while training, definitely like the biggest one was the match I had, the exhibition match I did.
For sure.
It was super cool.
Yep.
Just being able to put that work in, because I haven't felt that level of grind and competition since I wrestled.
Yeah.
Wrestling was obviously all grind every day, Monday through Sunday. Actually, Sunday was sometimes my off day, but I would usually do some extra training on my own. But feeling that same level of grit during camp, doubling up on meals,
Oh, yeah.
Eating twice as much as I would at school, and I would grab 2 cheeseburgers and a pizza puff and chow it all down, and then coming here, staying here till 11 p.m.
Yep.
If not later, doing the work, and then the performance. Even though I lost, I felt like I won. Not necessarily by it was a moral victory for me.
Oh yeah.
Just getting out there, putting on a performance, and then still being surrounded by my team, and that was just awesome.
And you look jacked too.
Yeah, I mean,
You're in great shape.
I always am.
Yeah, you always are. So it's so funny you talk about, getting ready for your competition, having to double up on cheeseburgers, just enjoying the fruits of what life has to offer when it comes to the culinary side. I remember myself, total opposite experience. Last time I had a scheduled, in the books, paperwork signed fight. This is going to be hard to believe. It was at 155 pounds.
Wow.
And I think it was around 20, 21. And I didn't get to do anything. I would look at cheeseburgers and I'd have to go run a mile. And I'll never forget, again, just working my butt off, getting in all the training, getting in all the miles running, getting in all the elliptical work, all the pad work, just regimented diet structure. It was the week of the fight. I'm walking around probably about 162, 163 pounds, loving life, and then to get the call saying, Ronnie, yeah, we're giving your opponent to somebody else. Yeah, you're out. And the feeling that I got, I was like, man, I look great, but on the inside, I'm sad right now. But again, that's a part of the sport. That's a part of the journey. I'm happy I went through it. And, you know, maybe one day I'll walk around at 162 pounds again, but I don't want anybody to hold their breath. But
I hope,
yeah.
I hope to be able to say the same one day. Be walking around 162
Yeah,
pounds. Could you imagine?
You got to add about 30, and I gotta lose a little bit more than that. So we'll see. I think you'll hit it before I do, but who knows? But yeah, that's always fun. Just the competition side is so fun. Just the added work that we get to do, the added work that we get to watch it's invigorating. Makes you want to fight. Makes you want to compete.
Oh yeah.
And when that individual does, it makes you feel like you're a part of a greater sum, but it's the truth. You know, if you're on these mats working with individuals like that, even if you're not working with the individual, you just being in the gym as they are, giving your energy, giving your, you know, as the competitor steps off the mats, hey, good job, man. Great sparring rounds. All that little stuff adds up in a major way.
Absolutely.
People don't recognize it at first, but it's the truth.
Right.
So the competition aspect is fantastic, but just the day-to-day training sessions are always so much fun.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I always look forward to it. Whenever I get a chance to train now, it's fun. It's just being able to come in here and do work with people that you love, you know?
Yeah. Some of my favorite parts about teaching the adults is, you know, obviously getting to pass on the wisdom that has been given to me, but also to be able to control the music that people listen to. And I know people love that. So I'm not open to taking song requests, but, you know, maybe I'll change as I get older. We'll see.
I remember a couple years ago, we used to have disco nights on Tuesday. That was fun while it lasted.
You know what? I don't think we're going to bring disco night back, but, you know, maybe a country line dancing night. Help with our footwork.
Every once in a while we have mariachi and Mexican music going on.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
But that's the vibe. Moving. That's the vibe, you know. We're here to have fun and live life and get a little stronger and grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Day by day.
Yeah, there's no reason you should walk into the gym with a feeling of nervousness, anxiousness, a fear of anything. It should be a feeling of, this is my place.
Yeah.
These are my mats. These are my people. I'm here to grow. I'm here to get better, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I'm here to build a connection with my peers. And it should be a fun atmosphere. Obviously, the underlining rule to all of this is the technique that we're showing, the technique that they're doing, and the work that we're doing. But there's no reason that the work should be, you know, scary.
Yeah.
It should be fun. You should want to look forward to it. You should want to look forward to stepping off these mats when the session is done, looking like you just stepped out of a swimming pool. That should be the goal, but right alongside that should be a smile on your face, knowing, wow, I just did that.
Yeah.
I just went through a 2-hour-long training session with Denny. I just went through a 2-hour-long training session with Ronnie. Was it difficult? It was the most difficult, and that's why I have a smile on my face, because you know what? I did it. I can drive home proud of myself, and the thought that regardless of how difficult it was, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up on Wednesday. I'm going to show up on Thursday. I'm going to show up on Friday. I'm going to be here for Saturday classes. I can't wait till the next Monday class rolls around. That's how it should be. So.
With all that work, then, you step out, get in your car. What's your go-to meal after a hard day of training?
Oh, wow. So, if you ask the Ronnie maybe 3 months ago before I started really honing in on my diet, wow. It depends on what time I get out of the dojo. Being a man that lived in Cicero for most of his life, you know, this might take away some of my street credibility. Taco Bell, open late, I know, but it depends on what time I get out. It depends. If it's super, super late, 2, 3 in the morning, that's an easy one. Spicy potato tacos, they're my weakness. You know, I'll down more than I care to admit of them. But I think that's a go-to. Honestly, a lot of times it's Hispanic food.
Yeah.
There's something, it just hits different. And we do have a couple local restaurants that are open decently late. It used to be Arby's.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep, Arby nights.
Arby nights.
That was fantastic. Just, yeah.
Eating the grossest food we could find.
Yeah, the greasiest, nastiest. The real thick guy move would be to go to Arby's, get a roast beef sandwich, buffalo chicken sandwich, and then immediately walk across. It's in the same parking lot. Go to White Castle, you get the onion rings, and you get the mozzarella sticks. And then honestly, what more can you ask for after a great night of training? It's always been a large Diet Coke. You know, I've always had some semblance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. That hasn't changed. But
Yeah, for me, it's been whatever will pack the most amount of calories and protein.
fair.
Yeah, not even in a healthy sense. I just know that I need it to physically feel healthy the next day. Otherwise, if I eat like carbs or a smaller amount of protein, I just don't feel good the next day. So
Yeah.
it's been it's still McDonald's and Culver's or whatever else is open, but it's been what is it going to help me pack on the most calories right
Yeah.
now?
As of the most recent version of myself, I've been so blessed that almost every day that I teach one of the parents, one of the moms or dads, they have meals prepared for me. And that in itself, somebody at their house preparing a meal, thinking of me,
That's awesome.
it's the best. And obviously they all know that, I have a certain dietary, line that I'm following.
Cater to your needs.
They cater to my needs, and it's fantastic. So I haven't been to an Arby's or a Taco Bell in a long time, thankfully to them. And that's another thing. It's like little things like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, you know what? Thank you so much for what you've been doing. By the way, I made grape leaves. Or hey, by the way, I made a healthy version of this. Hey, by the way, Ron, I got you homemade soup. I spent all day making it. I hope you like it. And it's like that. It's like, wow, how do I say thank you other than trying to be the best version of myself,
Yeah.
not only inside the dojo, but in the outside of the dojo, so I can then come back the next time I see you, the best version of myself, to be able to give you the best possible class and pour out everything that I have learned over the years.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
It is. It is awesome. And then getting stuff from kids too. They'll,
Pictures or
pictures, whatever, little bracelets and stuff, like what may be small to them is big to us.
and just being thought of is
thought of.
is enough. And then getting an actual gift or something
Oh.
from a kid. I've gotten drawings. I've gotten, like you said, bracelets, necklaces. What else have I gotten? Some kid made me cookies a while ago.
Yep. I have
You
a
know.
beard brush that I still use on a daily basis that a kid gave me.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, this is thoughtful and so practical. This is awesome.
Those are the best gifts, practical gifts.
The best. Had one kid this very week, the parents, the mom, made custom tailored shirts with my face on it.
I saw those. Those were awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, okay, you took the time to get an image of my face, to put it on a shirt, to put my last name on it, to do all of that,
Yeah.
and then to give that shirt to your child to wear while he takes my class. It blew my mind. When he walked in the door, my jaws dropped. It's like, I feel like the experiences that I've had here have equipped me to deal with many situations.
Mm-hmm.
But to see my face on a shirt,
Yeah.
because a family has taken to heart the things that I've done on the mats, to go home, to do all of that, to do all the labor it takes to do that is, again, how do you say thank you other than trying to be the best version of yourself so you can continue to harbor those positive emotions from him.
Yeah.
So, and obviously when she has some bigger shirts made, I'm not a youth medium, I plan on wearing those shirts every single day, inside the gym, outside the gym, wherever I go. My own face, my face while wearing a shirt of my face. So that'll be exciting. That'll be fantastic.
Great.
Just the thoughtful stuff.
So how do you, this is the first time we're doing this, so hopefully we're doing a good job here.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into the next topic, or
Yeah,
do you think?
yeah, what else we got?
All right, so the last kind of thing we got here, just to throw in some current events. What do you think on the whole John Jones situation, both on the Stipe side and the Aspinall side?
Yeah. John Jones as a whole.
First of all, like him, don't like him? What's your thoughts on him?
There is something cool about being an anti-hero to an extent. Being an avid Daniel Cormier fan, I feel like my loyalty to DC kind of limits the amount of affection that I can show for John Jones.
Yeah.
Is he a phenomenal martial artist? 1,000,000%. Do you have to have a bit of wildness, on the outside of the ring to conduct himself the way he does inside the ring? I would think so. Being who he is, being considered to be the greatest, martial artist of all time, obviously there's going to be a lot of highs, and then there's going to be some lows.
Yeah.
Some of those lows were pretty low, honestly. So I think, again, my loyalty to Daniel Cormier, knowing some of the things outside of the octagon. Would I want to see Stipe Miocic win? 1,000,000%. 100% I want to see Stipe win. Do I think it's going to happen? My heart says Stipe. My brain, my knowledge, and my experience says John Bones Jones.
Absolutely.
And we'll see. I'm honestly so much looking forward to the fight. I think John is like 37 years old now, and Stipe is about 42.
Yeah,
right around there. And I mean, that's awesome. But I want to see what version of Stipe we're going to get and what version of John we're going to get. Obviously, anytime John steps on the mats, it's going to be electric. But we'll see.
Funny fun fact here is the last time, I believe this is correct, I saw on social media, the last time Stipe fought, they were still using Reebok shorts.
That's insane. That's wild.
I don't know how long we've had Venom shorts for, but that feels like a long time.
Again, my concept of time isn't the greatest, but if the last time he fought it was with Reebok, that's crazy. But again, the caliber of not only fighter, but the caliber of a man that Stipe is, I think he'll be able to step in and lock in and be in the moment and be able to perform just as well, hopefully better than his last outing.
Yeah.
I think you get a guy who's that good, I think some of that weight and that time off gets diminished a little bit. I hope so, at least. We'll see.
What do you think of John Jones ducking Aspinall? What do you think of that? Do you think he's ducking, or do you think he's doing?
I think he's being smart. I think John is being highly intelligent.
Yeah.
I think Aspinall is a dog. And given the, would I rather be locked in a cage with Stipe or would I rather be locked in the cage with Aspinall? I think that's a tremendously difficult question I ask. But everything that we've seen from Aspinall states that, again, he's a dog, he's a monster, and he's going to be the future of the heavyweight division. To be from John's perspective, what is the least riskiest move? What is indicative of the best outcome for myself? And I think John believes that it's Stipe, and, ducking, dodging, however what you want to put it, I think it's probably the right thing for John, for sure.
I think it's a good business decision.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think the right thing to do would be to at least, you know, I mean, he's got the interim belt. He defended the interim belt. That's kind of funny, you know.
Yeah, it is.
So I think the right thing to do would be to at least give the guy a chance, you know.
For sure.
You know, if he gives him a chance, it would give him a chance to cement his legacy and, you know, and really write it in stone. Like,
Yeah.
put all the haters to sleep.
I think the question is, if John goes out there, beats Stipe, does he take that microphone and immediately retire?
That's what he was hinting at. I think just today, actually, he put out a vlog or a statement or something.
I haven't seen that yet, but that would be wild.
Yeah.
If John goes in there, takes out Stipe, mic drop, I'm done, see y'all later, that would be insane. And then obviously, you know, Stipe, would he want to continue to fight? Okay, if he does, obviously it's not going to be the next, he's not going to fight in a title fight next, so it would be Aspinall versus who then? Which would be, you know, then what? You know, to lose John to retire or Stipe to retiring, to losing both of them to retire,
Yeah.
that would be wild. That would be crazy. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, well, I think that's going to be a wrap for today.
Cool.
What are we calling this again?
Chat on the mat.
Chat on the mat. So this is the first episode. We'll see how this does. We'll try to shoot for once a month or something like that,
Yep.
and then see how this goes. And hopefully you guys like this. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Thanks for taking the time to talk, Ronnie.
Absolutely. Thank you, Denny.